News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Political corruption trial enters its third day in Helena. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It is Wednesday, March 30th, 2016. The sky is clear. We have 28 degrees in Missoula. Promises to be a beautiful day in western Montana, getting up near 60 degrees. Our newscast this morning sponsored by Transport Equipment, your headquarters for RV service maintenance and repair. Great place to take your fleet vehicles for service as well. Call 541-9097. A former staffer for an anti-union nonprofit says State Representative Art Whittick illegally coordinated with her group during his 2010 campaign. The Helena Independent Record reports Sarah Arnold, who worked for National Right to Work, testified yesterday that the Republican lawmaker had to have known about the value of services she and her group provided. Jonathan Motold, Commissioner of Political Practices, said Whittick underpaid for but still received services in exchange for his loyalty to the group. Whittick is denied taking unreported contributions and accused Motold of engaging in, quote, in a political witch hunt, quote. The outcome of Whittick's trial could influence a federal lawsuit challenging Montana's campaign contribution limits. At about 1 o'clock Monday afternoon, Missoula police responded to a 911 call from a woman who claimed that a man was ramming her apartment building with his car. Police Public Information Officer Travis Wells has more.
A woman reported that a male whom she had a order of protection against was sitting outside of her house. According to her, was intoxicated. He rammed his car into the apartment complex where she lived. He left the scene there and shortly after had a collision with two parked cars near the intersection of Toole Avenue and Waverly Street.
Police arrested 46-year-old William Joseph Massengale shortly after the second crash. During the spree, Massengale racked up a number of charges.
The male was arrested and charged with several crimes, criminal endangerment, criminal mischief, as well as violating the original order of protection. Looks to me like he has at least 8, ranging from the criminal endangerment down to failure to appear on maybe a previous charge.
According to Welsh, the car ramming into the apartment appeared to be an intentional act. It does not appear that anyone other than Massengale was injured during the incident. He'll be in justice court today. Two men, 28-year-old Joel Cahoon and 25-year-old Johnny Richardson, appeared in Missoula Justice Court Monday, and they were charged with breaking into Cahoon's former girlfriend's home Saturday night. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Celine Kepke has details.
The defendant and a co-defendant broke into an ex-girlfriend's house while intoxicated. They both assaulted the new boyfriend and the ex-girlfriend, smashed the victim's phone after she attempted to call 911. They punched holes in the wall of the residence and trashed the place.
Kepke continued to explain to Judge Karen Orzak why the state was requesting $50,000 bail for both defendants.
The defendants both tried to leave the scene with a 6-year-old girl and ran into one of the victim's cars in the process, causing what the state is recognizing as over $1,500 in damage, Your Honor. They were heavily under the influence of alcohol at the time. Judge
Orzak set bail for Cahoon at $5,000 and sternly warned him to have absolutely no contact with the female victim or the minor child. Richardson's bond was set at $10,000 due to being charged with his third DUI. He was also released on bond Monday afternoon. Montana's Chippewa Cree tribe has settled a lawsuit against its former partners in an online lending company. U.S. District Judge Brian Morris dismissed the lawsuit yesterday after he agreed to enforce the settlement through September 2017. The terms of the settlement have not yet been released. Last week at the University of Montana Mansfield Center, the Missoula Police Department and other state agencies hosted a conference on human trafficking for law enforcement. Missoula Police Detective Guy Baker said the training was specifically for agencies from several western states.
Law enforcement prosecutors from Montana, Washington, Idaho, and Utah, and we had over 200 attendees, and it was basically a 2-day conference to give them a good foundation for investigating sex trafficking crimes in their communities.
Baker describes some of the training provided during the conference on human trafficking.
Some of the training was on sex trafficking overview and investigation. Another one was on state laws and federal laws. One was on undercover operations. Another one related to operational planning, and then victim specialists presented options and opportunities that should be afforded victims in these situations, and then the last one was contacting and interviewing victims of sex trafficking.
Baker said the serious nature of sex and human trafficking will make it necessary to continue training law enforcement personnel long into the future. The Montana Vehicle Division has begun using new forms to apply for a driver's license to better comply with the National Motor Voter Law. Now anyone eligible to vote can register by using the same form to apply for a license without filling out a separate document. The new forms were rolled out this month amid pressure from Project Vote and other advocacy groups. Advocates say making it easier to register to vote could boost voter rolls, especially among the poor and the young. About 637,000 Montanans are currently registered to vote. The Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services, which runs the state's food stamp program, is also working to address issues raised by those groups. State officials are scheduled to meet with voter rights groups later on today. The Montana Office of Public Instruction has announced that 46 Montana communities will share in a $200,000 Graduation Matters Montana grant. Superintendent of Public Instruction Denise Juneau said the grants provide the building blocks for Graduation Matters Montana communities.
These challenge grants are a result of a partnership among the Office of Public Instruction, the Dennis and Phyllis Washington Foundation, AT&T, and State Farm. It's always because of these public-private partnerships that we're able to build the infrastructure around the state on Graduation Matters.
Juneau describes some of the programs the grant monies will help to establish.
In these Graduation Matters communities will be engaged in things like middle to high school transition programs, peer mentoring programs, job shadow opportunities, and college readiness programs.
Juneau said it's cooperative efforts like the grant announced in Helena yesterday that helped the state enjoy a graduation rate of 86%. The Montana Public Service Commission voted 3-2 yesterday to disallow costs related to a 2013 outage of Colstrip Unit 4 to be passed on to Northwestern Energy customers. PSC Commissioner Travis Kavula explains.
Northwest didn't take steps to limit the risk of major damage to its power plant by insisting on some pretty common sense tests. In my view, at Northwestern kind of just expected its consumers to bear the risk of those failures, and to me that's inappropriate and not very businesslike. In the end, I think the Commission's vision is one that really insists that Northwestern act like a business and take responsibility for the property that it, after all, owns.
The decision means the ratepayers will likely begin to see refunds in the near future. Kavula says the decision by the PSC could result in higher standards being set.
Once you let Northwestern buy back power plants and put the costs of whatever they've paid for them onto consumers, what do you expect from the utility in terms of operating those facilities? And I think the PSC here has made clear that if Northwestern is going to be allowed to buy power plants like this, we expect them to operate them prudently.
Northwestern spent an estimated $8.2 million in electricity market purchases following the outage. Commissioners Kirk Bushman and Bob Lake voted in the minority. Newstalk Times, 612.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Calm spring weather in store for us today in Missoula. High of right around 57 this afternoon under mostly sunny skies. We'll be looking to get down into the 30s for tonight. I'm meteorologist Matt Gray for the NBC Montana Severe Weather Alert Team.